Debbie with the Pickin Coop Farmstead, and yes, it's after 10 and I'm still in my jammies. I've done all my regular house chores and I'm crocheting, but I wanted to get some pumpkin bread made for the hubby. So let me show you how I do that. I've been making this recipe. My daughter will be 42 this year. So I've probably been making this recipe for 40 years and I love it. So let me show you what I use. It's very well loved. This is, oops, get you the right recipe right there. And it is this old, they used to come around door to door and sell magazines, believe it or not. I'm aging myself. And I ordered some magazines, I don't know, like Better Homes and Garden and Good Housekeeping, that kind of stuff. And I got this book for free along with another one. And these are the recipes I use for my pumpkin bread, my banana bread, and my zucchini bread. It's all in here and it's super easy. It makes 2 loaves. So you want to preheat your oven to 350, which I've turned it on. Grease and flour 2 loaf pans, which I've done. I have all my ingredients out. The only thing that I don't do is because I'm lazy is sift. It says to sift all your dry ingredients together. Now this is 4 cups of flour. Then it calls for 1 teaspoon of baking powder. There's 1. And then you're going to use 1 or 2 teaspoons of baking soda, which I keep mine in this big jug. I buy it in the bulk, so I keep it in here. So we've got 2 teaspoons of baking soda. There's 1, 2. Then we're going to use 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Usually I don't measure this, I just eyeball it, but since I'm doing this on film, there's 1. I like a little more, so I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon. And yes, I'm anal. I like to put my stuff away as soon as I use it. Let's see, next, it says to use ground allspice and some nutmeg. Now on my nutmeg, I shop at a local place here called Moore's Flour Mill. I'll put them in the description. And I buy my nutmegs whole. They used to come in a lovely plastic, or excuse me, glass jar, similar to this one, but now everything is in plastic, unfortunately, so I took them out and put them in a glass jar, and then I just grate it. You're going to use, I think, a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. Oh, 1 teaspoon, so I just eyeball that. And there is no comparison when you do that. No comparison. And then it says 1/2 teaspoon of cloves, ground cloves. We're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. There we go. And the next thing, I'm going to have to use my little coffee grinder I bought. And it says to use allspice. The allspice I got at the grocery store, I think it was in the Hispanic section, and they're little whole allspices. So I am going to put some in there. It's probably way too much, but we're going to grind these dudes up and we'll have some fresh ground allspice. So you probably can't see what I'm doing over here. I'm plugging this plugging this guy in. I've got my kombucha bottles ready to go. And plug your ears. Ooh, a little bit more. Smells good. It could probably go a little bit longer, but let's see, what does it say? The allspice, we want 1 teaspoon. Throw that in there. I think I'm gonna ground that, the rest of that up a little finer, and then I'll put it in a little container. But boy, does that smell way better than the stuff in the store that's already pre-ground. All right, so now we have our spices, and then we're just going to stir up all of, let me put this back down, our dry ingredients. Put this back out of my way, and let's see. Then you're going to make a well, which is just an indentation in your dry ingredients, like that. Then you're going to add your 1 cup of vegetable oil. And I don't use vegetable oil, so I'm using avocado oil. And when you're buying avocado oil, be very careful, because they're kind of sneaky about that. You want to make sure that you get 100% pure avocado oil. They're sneaking in other oils now. Then you're going to need 16, let's see, what's it say? 14.5-ounce can of pumpkin. And this is a homegrown roasted pureed pumpkin that I have canned. So that all goes into the well. Get every little bit of goodness. And then you're going to do 4 eggs. There's 1. Always do them separately. Don't want any surprises. I'm very diligent about collecting my eggs every single day. And it's not hot summertime now. So chances are that I get a bad egg are very slim. But I still do it that way. Okay, there's our 4 eggs. Then we're going to need 2/3 of a cup of cold water. I forgot the water, so hold on just a moment. All right, we've got our 2/3 a cup of cold water. Let's put all this stuff together, out of the way. Now, I'm going to kind of fold this in a little bit, just so it's not quite as messy. And I did not want to get out, I have a nice KitchenAid that I usually use for this, but I did not want to get it out. Just because after this, I'm going to do my F2 kombucha, which if you're not familiar with that, that's when you get your kombucha brew how you like it, to where you like it, I should say. I don't like mine too vinegary, so I don't let it sit for a very, very long time. There we go, this is coming together nicely. smells delicious. Now this is a little lighter in color, so if you're using canned pumpkin from the store, it's a lot brighter orange. So don't panic if you make this and your bread is much darker. I found out because I grew these little, I call them little sweet pie pumpkins. I saved the seeds from a little lady in Palo Cedro that I used to buy all my pumpkins from. They're delicious little pumpkins. I don't know the exact variety, but I've canned them up. I'm using the last of them. I made my pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving with them. And I'm making the last, I think this is the last jar of those with my bread here. But last year I bought a Hubbard squash, and I think I might have done a video on that. I'm not sure. No, because I didn't start doing videos. Anyways, and it's super, super dark, beautiful, bright, brilliant orange. And so is the little princess pumpkin I bought from them. Super, super sweet, both of them. So I did the same thing. I roasted them, took the skins off. I took the seeds out first. You roast them in the oven until the skins slide off. Then I pureed them. I put them over the heat on the stove and simmered them, and I pureed them, and then I canned them. That's supposed to be a no-no to not can pumpkin, but I've been doing it for 2 or 3 years now, and we're all still alive. So just, you know, do your research. That's all I can tell you. Okay, so now, I didn't even use this, but I sludged it through my eggs. I have to show you something though. Oh man, I dropped it. But this little guy is hand carved by it's either my stepmother or my step grandmother. Both of them were amazing, and it doesn't have either one of their initials on it. I use this guy all the time. I frost cakes with it. I level off my measuring cups when I'm measuring dry ingredients. I just love it. These things I'll have forever, and I'll be able to pass down to my kids. I'm very excited about that. Okay, so we've got our 2 pans. We've stirred up our ingredients. I try to get most of the lumps out of it. If you don't, it's okay. All right, so now I'm going to do it this way so you can see. I try to divide the batter into both pans evenly. If you don't, it doesn't matter. No one's going to come in and measure and give you demerits for this. I tend to be a little anal retentive. Try to get them, especially if you're giving them for gifts, try to give them uniform size if you're giving more than 1 loaf to somebody. All right, I think the rest of this. What a difference. I've never used fresh ground allspice before. I was in a hurry when I was making my Thanksgiving pumpkin pie, so I didn't really, I didn't want to grind that up, which in reality, I kind of do that to get the air bubbles out. And my oven is already preheated, so I'm going to pop these in, and I believe it takes about 40 to 50 minutes. What's this? Oh, 1 hour. 1 hour for the pumpkin bread. Must be much more dense. So we'll come back in an hour and see what these guys look like. Okay, you guys are going to die laughing here. I forgot the sugar. So now I have to take this out. Shoot, my stuff's probably going to stick, but it is what it is. These are the only bread pans I have. Note to self, you might want to taste your batter before you put your stuff in the oven. Good thing I'm not selling these or gifting them. That is silly, ridiculous. I have never done that before. I'm not kidding you. All right, now, I'm like, why does this just taste like regular bread? Which probably wouldn't have been a bad thing. We just want to add some salt to it. And speaking of salt, Joanne Zimmerman, who I follow on YouTube, Facebook, all of that, always adds a little bit of salt, much better, to her sweets. So let's put a little salt in there. It enhances the sweetness. All right, so you guys know we're not gonna flip these breads out of the pan on camera, just because the bottoms are going to stick. So we're gonna do this again. So even though I've been baking this recipe for 40 years, apparently I don't have it down pat. Sorry about that. My phone ran out of memory, so I had to offload some stuff real quick. All right, so now we're back to how our bread should be. I kind of made a mess of this. Not kind of, I did. All right, now these are going in the oven for 1 hour. We'll be back in an hour. Alrighty then, they are all done. I tested them, no gooey. It made a big mess, and they're not very pretty like they normally are, but they smell good, so I'm gonna wait for them to cool them. Have a big slice just to make sure they're not poison. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this huge faux pas. I had everything out. I just didn't pre-measure the sugar, so obviously I forgot to put that in. So I hope this video was entertaining at the least. I hope the sun is shining where you are. Please stay warm, safe, and happy. All right, thank you so much for watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing. God bless. Bye-bye.